Jim, there's another thing I picked up in your earlier conversation, which I thought was very, very interesting. I know you labeled it as the boy with a broken brain, but I couldn't help but notice that there was actually a crisis of spirit. You know, when you haven't had the alignment, and that mentor kind of came in and, for lack of
Yeah.
a better word, kind of kicked your butt into reawakening the spirit with like purpose. And I'm wondering if you're seeing for a lot of people that are in business, if that crisis of spirit of not being aligned is one of the things that you feel hold people back the most from the success they're looking for.
That definitely resonates with me. I think everyone's a little bit individual and it happens, in different forms. But, they say when the student is ready, the teacher appears. And it requires us to get out of our comfort zone. I think life is difficult for one of two reasons. Either because we're leaving our comfort zone, right? We're going into the unknown, trying something new, taking steps. Or life is difficult not only when we're leaving our comfort zone, sometimes life is very difficult if we're staying in our comfort zone, right? And, the comfort zone, I want to remind everyone, is a nice place to visit, but nothing grows there, right? When you understand the human brain and things like phenomenons like neuroplasticity, which is our brain's ability to adapt and make new connections even as we age, that our minds are the ultimate adaptation machine. Everything in nature has a superpower. 'Cause there are some creatures that could fly, and there's some creatures that could breathe and underwater, and some could climb. Some are super fast, some are super strong. Now, human beings, we're not any of those things, but because of our superpower, which is our mind, we can fly, right? We can go underwater. We can be super fast, right? Because we are these creators. And I want to remind everyone that you are the pilot of your brain. You're not the passenger. But when it comes to purpose, and I know my take on it, I write about it in Limitless, is the words passion and purpose seem to be used a lot interchangeably. But for me, functionally, like practically, passion is something that lights you up. And we could have lots of passions, right? It's not limited to one thing. We could be passionate about sports, and we could be passionate about personal development and passionate about entrepreneurship. So passion for me is what lights you up. Purpose for me is how you use your passion to light somebody else up. So my passion is learning. It wasn't always learning. Let's get that straight. But when I started to develop these learning skills and methodologies, I became very passionate about learning and it lit me up. Teaching people how to learn was my way of lighting other people up. And that was my purpose. So I think passion, which you could have many, is what lights you up. Utilizing that passion to serve others, to light them up, is our purpose. And I was lucky, very, very fortunate to find my purpose. And I'm not saying also purpose is limited to one thing either. But I just don't think things are necessarily predestined professionally for us, and that the goal is you expose yourself to a lot of stimulus and see where your heart takes you. And but finding purpose is a big way of giving yourself like sustainable motivation. Even getting on stage, like think about it, like my two biggest challenges growing up were public speaking and learning. And the universe has a sense of humor, because what do I do every day is I public speak on this thing called learning. But Jason, you and I have shared the stage many times. I still get a little nervous getting on stage because I'm very introverted, growing up. It's hard to kind of rewire all that, past trauma. But I just think about one person in the audience that I could serve. And when you put your attention on somebody else, then it takes that fear and that stress away. And also, like even with sales, I feel, God honest truth, a moral obligation to do what I do. Because shame on me or anyone listening if you have a product or service that could help people get out of suffering and struggle, and you don't invite them or make an offer for what you do. So I really feel a moral obligation to do this. And that's what drives me. That's what drives me to be on 3 continents in 1 week. That's what drives me to be on stages in front of tens of thousands of people. Even though I get nerves like anybody else would, but I just think about, helping people. And if I didn't do it, who's counting on me today to be at my best, to serve? Who's counting on me today to play at my A game? And I always think about those people in the audience, because that's me, right? I used to go to all, with that money I had as an 18-year-old, I would go and travel the country and different parts of the world, and I would be sitting in those seminars. And it's the fastest way, I believe, for people to achieve is to feed your mind with podcasts like yours, to feed their mind with books, right? With mentors. Because there's if anyone is struggling right now with a problem, somebody's written about it, right? Or somebody is coached, somebody's walked that trail. And I feel like one of my pet peeves is when you look on social media and people, there's this phrase, self-made millionaire. And I'm just thinking, like, dude, like, you had help, right? You had a team, you had parents, you had maybe clients, but we all, it takes a village. And so, find that help and other people, because we all need people to encourage us, to cheerlead for us.
Thank you so much for listening to the Selling with Love podcast. We have some previous episodes you can tune into right here. And if you prefer the short form content where you get to the point in under 10 minutes, we do have a ton of clips from our best episodes that are being shared on this channel as well. So pick which one supports you the most. And of course, thank you for liking, subscribing, and of course, selling with love.